How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? We are back for another episode of MMA Mondays on a Wednesday. I apologize if you guys saw my video from this past weekend, the UFC 264 video. I was in New York and then I was traveling pretty much all Monday and Tuesday. So I'm finally back now. Nonetheless, it is Wednesday, but we're still getting the podcast out. What episode are we on? Let me look. Number 13. That's kind of crazy. It was kind of weird. It feels like it's been forever too since I've done this because we didn't have any fights since the Cyril Gane fight, which I believe was like in June. I want to say this was the McGregor fight was the first fight of July. So it's been a while. It's a little bit weird talking on the camera and everything, but it's weird though when I do this. I feel so much more comfortable when I sit here and just talk in front of a camera. It's so much not more comfortable, but I feel like it's a lot easier for me to be able to just sit here and flow and say whatever I want to say. And I don't know, like whenever I record the other videos that you guys see me do is because it's just like I don't know why I said because when you guys see me do the other videos though, it's like it's so much harder for me because I feel like I have like a script that I have to follow, and then like I just keep stumbling because I know what I have to say. When I do this, I have nothing in mind that I have to say, which I feel like would be harder. But I guess it's just easier because I'm good at talking, I guess, or I'm just good at talking to a camera. Not really. I don't know. I don't know if it translates to talking to people in person, but I don't know. It's just weird because when I know what I have to say, I can't say it, and then when I don't have anything to say, I can say anything. But you guys also too might be wondering about the hat. I apologize. I noticed too, like right before when I got on here, whenever I wear white t-shirts and I have my lights going and my blinds open and everything, it just like my camera makes me look flipping like the Pillsbury Doughboy white. Like I get pasty white because the light gets on me and then it bounces off my shirt and my face. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. And then it makes my face like super pasty looking. Like you almost can't even see me. It's just like my eyes. But I put the hat on because hopefully I think the hat gives me a little bit of a shadow, so it gives me some color. Not looking like some flipping pasty beast that's been locked in an attic. But yeah, we got a couple topics. Obviously, the biggest topic is going to be UFC 264. Conor McGregor broke his leg, all that stuff. Before we get into all that, though, you guys know how we do it. I'm going to go run through every single fight from the very, very first fight on the prelims all the way up to the main event. The very first fight of the night, it started off with Zhalgas Zhumagulov facing off against Jerome Rivera. And this was actually a pretty crazy fight because, I mean, you can see here the odds. Zhumagulov was a massive favorite. He was a lot smaller than Jerome Rivera, who was, I guess, a lot bigger. He looked like he was like a featherweight fighting at 125. And you could see it at the very beginning, like the range and everything. Rivera was doing a great job with the kicks, blasting him in the body, just keeping Zhumagulov thinking and making it hard for Zhumagulov to get in range with that long frame that Rivera had. Eventually, I don't even remember what happened because the night was so crazy. I just remember somehow they got into like a grappling exchange. I think they clenched up against the fence. I think maybe Zhumagulov may have clipped Rivera or something. Rivera may have slipped or something happened. Rivera ended up on the ground, and he was like shooting in for a single or something on Zhumagulov, and then he locked up that pretty sweet guillotine. And then Akhmedov and Tavares. Betting recap too, if you guys watched the betting video, and then going back to the bets here, I had an absolutely god-awful flipping weekend, these bets. I had Akhmedov. It was a pretty close fight. I actually think Akhmedov did, like, he had a chance there to win at the end, but I think he was starting to fade a little bit, and Tavares ended up pulling out on top. But Akhmedov actually looked pretty good, a lot better than I think a lot of people were expecting. Jennifer Maia, Jessica Eye, this was like it was a pretty good fight because it was pretty crazy that Eye had that I guess third eye that opened up on her forehead. It was like a massive cut, and she had a picture too of it like getting stitched up. It was pretty gross, but she ended up losing that fight. As you can see, a unanimous decision of Jennifer Maia, keeping it rolling to the prelims. This whole card too is insanely stacked. Like a lot of these fights are really good. This fight as well, the Trevin Giles, Dracus Duplessis. I forget, he was saying you guys gotta remember how to say my name. I'm sorry, dude, I already forgot. But this was pretty crazy because it was a pretty back and forth fight. Like Giles was landing some shots. Like when Duplessis knocked him out, he was covering up because Giles was throwing some bombs, and then right after he got done with the combination, he came in, hit him with, I think it was like a 1-2 or something. I think it was the cross that it may have actually been a jab. I don't remember. It was a straight shot that knocked out Giles, and he smacked his head on the canvas pretty hard. He was out. And then another crazy fight, the Ryan Hall, Ilir Topuria. I thought this was another bonus. This wasn't like an official bet. This was like one of the bonuses, I guess, on my betting video. And I had Ryan Hall just because I figured if Ryan Hall got his hands on Topuria, it would have been a game over for Topuria. But the thing is with Ryan Hall, he literally just kept doing the same thing over and over and over and over. And it was like when you just button smash, you spam the same button on a video game. That's what this guy was doing. And once you figure out what his game plan is, it's just, I'm going to Imanari roll, Imanari roll, Imanari roll. That's all he kept doing, rinse and repeat over and over again. It made it so easy for Topuria to just finally figure out, okay, well, he's going to keep doing this, so maybe I can try this. And he ended up just getting off to the side and just started hitting him with some ground and pound and knocked Ryan Hall out. I don't think Ryan Hall's ever been finished in his career. He has that one loss, but I think it was a decision. But he got knocked out cold. And I just think Ryan Hall, I really, really like him. I think I actually was going to make like I actually was going to throw him in on the most underrated fighters list that I did last week. But I didn't, simply because there's not that many, like, he fights like every couple years, like every year, 2 years. And especially now after this, I'm kind of glad I didn't put him on there, because he needs to do more. Like, he is very skilled. He's very well-rounded. He has good kicks. He throws a lot of like crazy techniques on the feet that'll make you guess, like the wheel kicks and all that stuff. But obviously on the ground, he's a leech. He's a nightmare. But I think he needs to do a better job of using his strikes and using that to set up his takedowns and his Imanaris, I guess. Or just maybe not even Imanari. You got to figure something else out, dude, because it's mixed martial arts. You can't just do one thing over and over again and expect it to work. That's insanity. So I don't know. I was pretty crazy by Topuria. Ryan Hall, again, big fan, but you gotta change something up. You can't do the same thing over and over again. Michel Pereira and Nico Price, another crazy fight. I think it was like, I mean, Pereira, everybody knows that Pereira is going to go crazy. He's going to explode. He's going to do back flips, front flips, off the cage, through the flipping, through the octagon. He's going to do all kinds of crazy stuff. But he gassed himself out, and I thought Price actually had a chance to win that. Obviously, I think Pereira did enough over time to get that decision, beat him on points. But I think if we're talking about a street fight, Nico Price was going to win that fight, because Pereira was definitely gassing, and Price was starting to pour it on. He survived a lot there early, and was durable enough to keep fighting, and was starting to weather out Pereira, and it was pretty interesting. I wish that could have been maybe a 5-rounder, because I think Price had a good chance at winning that if that was a 5-rounder. But Carlos Condit, Max Griffin, not that would ever be a 5-rounder on a flipping prelim, but I don't know, it'd be a crazy fight to watch. Carlos Condit, Max Griffin, pretty scary fight, because I bet on this fight. I actually had a 2-leg parlay of Max Griffin and Sean O'Malley I'm pretty sure I said KO in my video. So technically this was one of the parlays that hit, but then I uploaded another video Saturday morning of a parlay of Sean O'Malley first round KO parlay with the main event not going the distance, which was like plus 110. I said that was an absolute lock. Take this 100%, and it didn't hit, obviously, because the dude ended up surviving to the third. But this actually was a parlay that did hit. I had Max Griffin money line, one of the first legs. It was kind of scary because Carlos Condit started turning it on in the second round, because Max Griffin had a pretty dominant first round. Carlos definitely won the second, and then Max won the third. Pretty back and forth fight, but that was one of the first legs, the parlay down. And then the second leg, I had Sean O'Malley KO. I was expecting to be like maybe plus 100 odds, but then obviously once the lines got announced, you can see how big of a favorite O'Malley was. It ended up being like a minus 270 some on the odds for Sean O'Malley by KO. So I did parlay that together with Max Griffin, and I think it was like I don't know what the odds would be on that, maybe like plus 180, 200, somewhere around there. Sean O'Malley ended up getting the KO, but I really believe that Moutinho definitely deserved to get that extra 30 seconds. I mean, he surprised me. I had a bunch of parlays, every single one of my bets. If you guys saw my betting or my video with from UFC 264 the past week, and I had my bets in there, and actually all of my parlays had Sean O'Malley either first round KO or the O'Malley fight under 1.5 rounds. Obviously, that didn't happen. It was pretty insane. Like, I think everybody in their mom expected, my mom included, expected, because my mom's seen Sean O'Malley's fights. She reacted to some of his knockouts on my channel, if you guys haven't seen that already. But it just, someone like Moutinho, who got brought in off the regional scene with a record of 9-4, and had been finished before by other people that obviously aren't on Sean O'Malley's level, and then being able to go in there and get, I was gonna say it was get a win against Sean O'Malley, because he did kind of get a win. We'll get into all that, but be able to go out there and take O'Malley's best shots, and even though lose, he still kind of got a win, because he showed everybody how durable he is. He went in as like a minus, or against somebody who like O'Malley closed out as a minus 1,000 favorite, and because it says minus 185 here, but he closed out at minus 1,000, which Moutinho was like a plus 600, or I don't even know, a very, very big favorite, or a very big underdog, excuse me. went out there and put it on him. I mean, didn't put it on O'Malley, but he made O'Malley really work for that finish, I guess. O'Malley was probably going to finish him up in the first if there was a little bit more time, but Moutinho survived, and he showed how durable he is, and he showed that he's probably going to be a pretty exciting guy to watch. Because if he can fight like that against a lot more people moving forward, like hopefully that doesn't damage his chin, and he can be an exciting dude to watch because he may not like skillfully look super good, like wow, this dude's super technical, he's super sharp, he's super flashy, I guess, like an O'Malley type guy. But he's like a Nate Diaz dude that can just take whatever you put at him and he's going to keep coming forward. And that's almost more exciting to watch because you never know what could happen. Like the Diaz-Edwards fight where Diaz was getting the snot beat at him the whole entire fight and then somehow just survives long enough to land a perfect shot to almost put Edwards away. Moutinho could be a guy like that where he's just a zombie. He can take everything you put at him and just that one little shot that he lands could change everything. He seems like a very entertaining guy to watch, and his following, like I checked out his Instagram before the fight. He had like 1,000 followers on Instagram, and then after the fight, like now he has like 130,000 or something crazy like that. So good for him. Got 75K bonus. Definitely a life-changing moment for him. That's why I said it was a win for him. Irene Aldana, Yana Kunitskaya, Aldana with the first round KO. I didn't see this because my internet pooped out. You can see that in my 264 video. Tai Tuivasa, Greg Hardy, pretty insane, pretty exciting fight for as long as it lasted. Looked like Hardy was going to knock out Tuivasa, and then Tuivasa, I guess, was playing possum and ended up smoking Greg Hardy, putting him to sleep. Gilbert Burns, Stephen Thompson, a pretty exciting fight. I think I said in one of my videos, I think it was either my MMA Monday or something, I said that I think Gilbert Burns was going to beat Stephen Thompson, and sure enough, he did, plus 125. Underdog, didn't bet on him, but underdog ended up winning pretty cool. Think Stephen Thompson's probably done because it doesn't seem like he's going to get to the title anytime soon, especially if he's got to go through Burns or somebody else in the like Colby Covington, somebody in the top three. He's going to have a hard time facing off against those guys. Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, the main event, the big cheese, pretty insane, a little bit disappointing. It is, I don't know, I think it was, watching that fight, I think it was pretty clear that even though McGregor did start out pretty, I guess, fast, he was more active, but I don't really think you could say, based off of those kicks, that McGregor was winning that round or even looked like he was on his way to win that fight. I mean, he was doing good because he was just getting ahead early, but then you saw Poirier start to get his timing down, and then he started tagging up McGregor, and actually McGregor was one that engaged the clinch and all that stuff because Poirier started landing some shots. I think Poirier slipped one of Conor's left and landed his own left, and I think that started to stagger Conor, and then he went back and he landed a hook, and then Conor like shelled up because he said he was making fun of McGregor or of Poirier because he would shell up and stuff like that in the fights, and McGregor's the one that ends up shelling up, and when he shells up, Poirier throws an uppercut, and then that's when McGregor he got stunned, went in for the clinch, which again is funny because he was talking about how grappling's a joke, submissions don't count, all this stuff. He's the one that engages in the grappling, and then they get up against the fence, and again submissions don't count. The Khabib submission against him didn't count. He goes for a guillotine, jumps guillotine, and somebody like Poirier, who's a black belt on the ground, end up surviving. There's a lot of controversy about Poirier using his toes to get out of the guillotine. I still think he could have got out of the guillotine without getting his toes in there. Yes, his toes shouldn't have been in the fence, but he could still just use his heels to push off the fence to get him around. Like, it wasn't like his toes gave him the extra push that he needed. I still think he would have gotten out of that, and he was smart enough. He even said that he was just baiting Conor to do that so he could wind up on top position. And then Poirier just was on, I think for like 3 minutes in the first round, was just on top of Conor, landing some pretty heavy elbows. Conor was throwing some elbows from the bottom too, but Poirier was way, way, way more active for the 3 minutes on the ground. Was just beating the snot out of him, and looked like for a second he might have actually, Herb was starting to get close, like he could have potentially stopped McGregor. And then obviously they get up with like 10 seconds left, throws a couple like exchanges. McGregor throws that front kick where potentially could have caused the break and a couple seconds down the line, and then Conor ends up throwing a punch again, steps back. There she goes, got the Chris Weidman leg, the Deontay Wilder ear. It was a pretty rough night for McGregor, and then on top of that, after losing, McGregor still, it just cracks me up because McGregor is like the epitome of an egomaniac goofball, and he just can't handle when things don't go his way. So because I don't know if everybody else saw this, because when McGregor was sitting down and they were doing the Poirier interview, Poirier said, "Why don't you go over and get what McGregor's saying?" And McGregor was pretty much telling Poirier that he was gonna like murder his family in their sleep, like saying he was gonna shoot his family in their sleep and all this stuff, and saying that this isn't over. Let's just realize, first of all, it's not Poirier. Okay, well, he said, Conor himself said it wasn't anything Poirier did to break his leg. So Conor pretty much saying it's not Poirier's fault that his leg's broken. Conor's leg being broken, obviously is the reason he couldn't continue fighting, and he's saying it's Poirier's fault. But why are you threatening Poirier's family because you broke your leg? Is it because you knew that you were getting beat? Is it because your ego felt a little assaulted, I guess, or you felt like a stab at your ego because you end up losing a fight again to a better man on a bigger stage? Because there's no other reason that you would be mad at Poirier other than like your just ego's a little bit hurt because he was better than you and he was beating you. Like when Conor was saying this too, it wasn't when Poirier hadn't said anything about him saying personally he sees it as a win. This was right after the fight happened. Poirier hadn't said anything yet, so Conor was already saying he was going to kill his family when it wasn't even, in Conor's words, Poirier's fault that he broke his leg. So why are you mad at him? It just shows what kind of baby egomaniac Conor is. Obviously, it sucks that the fight ended the way it did because I wish it would have went on longer than that. I was a big Poirier fan. If you saw my betting video, there was another bet that hit. I said Poirier was going to win, and he ended up winning, but it wasn't obviously how you'd want it to win or how you'd want him to win. But I genuinely believe the fight would have went on longer, especially getting Conor down on the ground for 3 minutes, holding him down, landing some bombs on him. That definitely was not in Conor's game plan, and I think it was going to have an effect on how snappy and how much pop Conor had in that second round, not being as explosive because Conor's such a fast twitch dude. When you're on the ground, when you're squeezing, holding somebody, trying to hold them down from raining elbows on you, or you're trying to get up, that just fills your muscles up with blood and oxygen, and it's really hard to. It's just a lot harder to move as fast, move as swiftly, and have that same speed, fast twitch pop. But pretty crazy. I think Dustin would have ended up beating McGregor. I mean, obviously I'm biased because I'm a McGregor or a Poirier fan, but I really do believe, just based on stats, he was doing a good job of controlling him. And what you saw, I think, going in towards the end of the round, it looked like Poirier, even on the feet, was starting to tag up. Before they even went to the ground, he was starting to tag up Conor, and then they went to the ground, and obviously that effect that it might have on his cardio. I just think Poirier was, especially in a war like that, it definitely favored Poirier. And then the fact that it was a 10-8, I don't know if it was maybe a 10-8. I mean, I'm not mad that it was a 10-8, but definitely a 10-9. There's no way Poirier didn't lose that round. I don't know. I think what's next for McGregor, I really don't know. It's his birthday today, so he's 33. So by the time he comes back, he's going to be 34. He's definitely going to be past, by the time Conor gets back, if he gets back in title contention, he's going to be past his prime. He'll be at least 35. Because he's going to need at least 1 or 2 more fights before he starts fighting for the title. He's definitely, like, Poirier's not going to, he already said he's not going to take that fight again. Conor needs to get some wins before they even think about fighting again. And I kind of honestly agree because Conor's, lost 4 out of his last 7 or something like that. Let's pull up his record and look. Let me see. Conor McGregor. He's lost a good chunk of his fights, his past couple fights. He has that win against Cowboy and then lost against Khabib. The Nate Diaz win and then lost to Nate Diaz. Like, his past couple fights, he's been very choppy. And I genuinely believe the second Nate Diaz fight was a pretty close fight. Again, I also may just sound like I'm a McGregor hater. I don't want to donate to flipping Wikipedia. Here we go. Somewhere. Like, look at that. That's pretty shaky there towards the end. So I think he definitely needs to get some wins before. You can't have this in your past couple fights and then still be calling shots on a title, even though he is a draw. Like, he's a big draw, and the UFC will do it because it makes them a bunch of money. It just, in a logical sense, it doesn't make sense. Like, just being logical, like thinking about mixed martial arts as a whole, but then you get money in the equation, and that changes everything. But he needs to get some wins, at least 1 or 2 more wins before he starts fighting for the title. Definitely 1. You can't be 3. You can't have lost 3 of your last 4 fights unless you're Cody Garbrandt and then fight for a title. I don't know. That's my thoughts. Maybe get the Nate Diaz fight whenever his leg heals up, because that'll probably be the next time Nate Diaz ends up fighting, because he takes a year and a half off in between his fights. Maybe the Nate Diaz fight, he could probably win that fight, get another win on his belt. I'd like to see the Makhachev fight. I think that would be down the line. I think McGregor needs to get some wins before he fights Makhachev. But that would be a big fight if Makhachev ends up getting close to the title, or it could be like a title eliminator, or if even Makhachev ends up winning the title. that would be a massive fight because the storyline's already there, being Khabib's like protege. Khabib would definitely already be there because of the being like, you know, training, coaching Makhachev. So that's a fantastic storyline, and I mean it would already work since they have history previously with the whole UFC 229. It would be a pretty insane fight. Definitely a big seller, but I think it's a bad fight for Conor because I don't think Conor wins that fight. But those are probably the fights I see. Maybe do a Nate Diaz rematch. Maybe do like a Gaethje fight. That would be a pretty crazy fight. I don't know if Conor would take that because that's a little bit scary. Do like a Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson, because those are fights that would sell because they both have history. The Nate Diaz obviously is evident the history there, and then Tony Ferguson's been trying to fight Conor forever, and I think now Conor would probably take that fight because Tony's definitely towards the end of his career. I think those are 2 wins Conor could rack up, and then maybe fight a Makhachev or fight Poirier, whoever has a title, who's up there towards the top. That would probably be what's next for McGregor. But real quick though, back to the McGregor thing too. Everybody that says that that's not a legitimate win, if you're going off of a judge's decision when something happens like in a fight where somebody can't continue, like an illegal knee, say an illegal knee happens, or not even a illegal knee, an unintentional like a eye poke. That's a good example. If there's something like that happens, or I forget what some of the other cases would be. Sometimes I guess it would be like an illegal, like unintentional illegal punch, like if somebody gets hit in the back of the head, but it's obviously not intentional because maybe the guy was turning their head as the other guy was throwing the punch, something like that, where it's a freak accident. They will go to the judges' scorecards to see like who is winning at that point in the fight, and then use that as the winner, which would be the case here. Say if you were to do that, you would look at the judges' scorecards because it went the whole round ended. They went to a complete 1 round, so you can go to the scorecards and look who won that fight for as long as it went, for as long as Conor McGregor and both fighters could continue. Dustin Poirier won that fight 10-8, definitely 10-9, but 10-8 on the judges' scorecards. Dustin Poirier won that fight for as long as it lasted. So how is it an illegitimate win? You had 1 round, Conor, because you broke your leg with 10 seconds left. So you had 4 minutes and 50 seconds out of a 5-minute fight, or a 5-minute round, I guess a 5-minute fight in this case, to win, and you lost. You lost that round for as long as it went. So how is that illegitimate? Yes, the fight could have went on longer, and yes, I believe Poirier would have won, but you can't say it's illegitimate, and you already said it wasn't Poirier's fault. So it's just a freak thing. We go to the judges' scorecards. Let's look at see who's winning that fight. Poirier was winning that fight. Conor McGregor, you got to give it up. Your ego needs to give it a rest, and just you need to accept what happened, and I don't know, maybe just you need to swallow your pride and just, like a lot of people I forget who said that, I think it was Dominic Cruz was saying that he just needs to actually learn to take his losses because it might benefit him better. I don't know, but it was pretty crazy, definitely a crazy night. Moving on to next weekend. Actually, before we get into that, the Tough last night, I don't know if you guys saw the Ultimate Fighter. It's pretty crazy episode. I forget who, it was something Rittenhouse and Brady. I don't even know. I know the names, but I know it was Brady something and something Rittenhouse. That was an insane fight. Probably the best fight of the whole entire Ultimate Fighter so far. I was actually watching that fight, and I really didn't know who was going to win because I thought Youth was definitely on Brady's side. And then once I found out that Rittenhouse actually had like the most experience on the on pretty much, I think, out of everybody on that on the whole show, he was like a record of 16-5. That's definitely something to take into account because I've noticed that a lot more of the experienced guys usually end up winning. The people that have significantly more experience than their opponent usually end up winning on the Ultimate Fighter, but it's actually the other way around. And I think it was because the Youth was on Brady's side. I feel like since it was kind of a war, that was like definitely the craziest back and forth fight so far of the season. And it was a war, and I think being in a war like that where you're really in a lot of explosive wrestling exchanges because they were doing a lot of like crazy throws, trips, things like that, slamming each other down. That's definitely very tiring, and it takes a lot out of you. And obviously the younger guy, Brady, was like 22 versus Rittenhouse, who was like 32 or something. Like he was like early 30s. That's obviously going to favor a younger guy. Experience-wise, though, it definitely seemed like Rittenhouse had the experience. He knew what to do, and it was a lot more well-rounded, especially on the feet. Was figuring out like which way Brady would dip his head and he would throw those uppercuts, and he was landing a lot, but Brady was just young enough, he was durable enough to take those shots, be able to endure a lot more, or just be able to endure more than probably someone else, maybe somebody that just has more wear and tear on their body. Pretty crazy fight though. I didn't know who to pick in that fight, so I'm not really gonna say I picked anybody in that fight because I genuinely didn't. I don't know who to pick in that fight. But so far it's been a pretty crazy pretty crazy season. I've watched every single episode. It's been pretty insane. If you guys haven't watched it, go ahead and check it out. And then moving on to next weekend, we have the Makhachev fight, who we were talking about earlier. The Makhachev Moises. I'm going to go through the cards that I see and talk about who I think is going to win. Probably Figueiredo's little brother. He might win, but that might be a pretty entertaining fight. Definitely going to look into that. I got Miles John here. Got Khalid. Actually, I didn't realize he was fighting Morozov. Because Morozov fought Umar Nurmagomedov, he actually had a pretty competitive fight with Umar, and Khalid Taha is actually a pretty tough dude too. I actually might favor Morozov in this. I might go with Morozov. I don't know anything about either of these two women. Might just go with Lemos because she's Lemos. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Just because she's ranked. And the Daniel Rodriguez. I don't know who the guy is fighting, but I'm going with Rodriguez. Rodriguez is definitely a slept-on dude. He's very tough. And then keeping it rolling, Gabriel Benitez, Billy Quarantillo. I really don't know who's going to win that fight. Dustin Stoltzfus, and I think this dude was on the Contender Series, if I remember correctly, and Adolfo Vieira. Let me see. What was he on the Contender Series? Maybe they'll show. Can I scroll down, please? No? Let me see. I might be able to go here. I'm pretty sure he was off the Contender Series. Yeah, he looks like he was. I think he was the dude that like trained in Germany or something. He's like American dude that trained in Germany. It's not looking like it though. I gotta look this up now. Dustin yeah, however you say that. Let's see. I think. It's on Contender Series. I apologize. This is being slow. A few moments later. Yeah, he was in Contender Series and then lost to Kyle Daugus. Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. All I wanted to know is I'm right. No, I'm kidding. I'm not an egomaniac like Conor, but I don't know who's going to win this fight. Vieira's a pretty tough dude, obviously, if he goes to the ground, but Vieira's had problems with his cardio in the past. And I think Stoltzfus is a pretty tough dude. He seems like he can be pretty durable. Jeremy Stevens and Metus Gamrot. I got Gamrot in this one. Miesha Tate, Marion Renault. I really don't know because Miesha Tate's coming off a very long delay. I think overall, like career-wise, Tate's the better fighter, but Renault's definitely the more active. I'm probably going to go with Tate. Thiago Moises, Islam Makhachev. I think this is a pretty obvious one. I think Makhachev's going to win, but I think Moises is actually going to be a lot more competitive than what people think. Might even be similar to the Sakarian fight, the Arman Sakarian. If you guys haven't watched that, it's on YouTube. You can go and check that out. It's a pretty crazy back and forth fight. A very, very high level fight. If you guys are like into grappling and you like watching like super high level stuff, that's a high level fight. And I think this could be very similar because Moises is very tricky on the ground and he has very good stand up. Not very good, but he has underrated stand up for somebody that's as good of a grappler as he is. Should be a very interesting fight. Ultimately, I think Makhachev's going to win, especially being in a 5-round fight. I think it's going to favor Makhachev. I really don't know because we've never seen him in a 5-round fight. But I'm just going to guess. Training the way that those Dagestan dudes train, probably going to favor Makhachev. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I don't know if I'm going to do any bets this weekend for the fights. We'll have to see. I'm going to have to check out some of the lines. Looking to see what some of the lines are and stuff like that. I know Makhachev's a pretty massive favorite, like a minus 670 favorite. So we'll see, because obviously that's not worth betting. But I don't know. I'll look into some different fights and see. Maybe I'll put a fight card out. Maybe I'll just do a quick video, put it up. I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to think, though. I don't know if I have anything else to talk about. I think that's pretty much going to be it. I'm going to work on some, I'm going to definitely try to work on a video this week because it is Wednesday and I'm getting out my podcast on Wednesday, which kind of sucks because normally that's what kicks off the week and then I have all week to work on a couple videos. But obviously I'm already halfway through the week, so I might only have like definitely a video for the fights this week and the Makhachev fight, but we'll see if I get another one in. Yeah, I don't know if you guys, I want to get some feedback too if you guys watch the underrated fighters. The most underrated fighters in the UFC. I did that video a little bit different than I do some of my other videos. And it was like editing wise, there was a lot more work that went into it. But I don't know if you guys like that kind of stuff, or just tell me what kind of style videos you guys like me doing when I do that kind of stuff, or if you guys like the laxative challenge video that I did, like the betting challenges, that kind of stuff, or just I don't know, or like obviously I don't like the ones where I just kind of sit here in front of a camera and talk to you guys. I want more stuff like, I don't want to say vlogs, but like vlog-esque stuff where it's just more than me sitting in front of camera. It's like me going around doing things. I kind of like doing that kind of stuff. So if you guys like, just let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see, because I'm trying to get new ideas. better ideas, and I want to tailor my videos to what you guys want to see. I don't want to just be putting junk out there. I want to know what you guys want to see, and I want to be able to meet your guys' demands, I guess. Supply and demand. I'm the supplier, you guys got the demand, you guys just got to tell me what you want. But yeah, I think that's all I got though for this podcast. Episode 13. We got the Makhachev fight this weekend. Already had the Ultimate Fighter. I forget who's fighting next time. I don't know. We'll talk about it on the next episode of MMA Mondays. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys did, please be sure to drop a like, share this. If you guys know anyone else that enjoy this stuff, send my video stuff. I'm stumbling over my words because I'm trying to get this out. You guys know the usual spiel. Till next time.